If you want to create an HR database, including an employee directory that allows you to track time off requests or employee evaluations and reviews, then you'll want to check this one out. Welcome to our channel. My name is Zach Stevenson. I'm a business processes and no-code consultant. If you need help streamlining or automating any of your business processes, please visit our website below to book a free consult. To get started, you will need to create an Airtable and a Fillout account. There is affiliate links in the description below for both Airtable and Fillout. Go ahead and get those started. Once you have those accounts set up, you'll go to Airtable and you can create a new base. And then you'll be able to build this structure here. I've already developed it, and I will go through each table and each field as well, so that you understand what is going on and how everything connects and works. We will touch on creating a couple of Fillout forms. One's going to be a simple employee intake form for a new hire. This could be the start of your onboarding phase. And then what we will also do is create a time off request form. What that will also do is bring in pre-filled fields, and we'll hide those so that a specific employee is able to go in and request time off, and it's already linked to their user account. We'll touch on automations as well. Just create one simple automation, and we will create a employee interface for the HR. Those are kind of a couple of the high-level topics to get started into the base. The first thing we're going to look at is the employee directory. Like all tables within Airtable and many databases, there is the primary key. I prefer to use a formula for most of these just to create some sort of unique D. In this case, I'm just using first name, last name, and the auto number field, and I just named or labeled auto number as an ID. I'll just click into that so you can quickly see what that looks like. And from here, again, pretty simple. We have auto number, first and last name, which are just single line text fields. We have a date field for date of birth. We have 2 email fields for work and personal email. We have a phone field type. We have a long text field type, which is for an address. And I will show you how to use the address field type within Fillout. That will help structure and validate some of the data to pass it directly into the long text within Airtable. We have 2 different single selects for department and position. We have, again, a date field for the start date, another single select for the status, a currency field for salary. And then there's a number of ways that you could probably set this one up. But we just have a sick days and a vacation days. And these 2 here are just number fields. And then on either side of those, we have a roll-up field for sick days used. And that will be pulled in from this time off table. Essentially, when a time off request has been submitted and approved, it's going to look at, is it a sick day or is it a vacation day, and the number of days. And is it this year? Is it within the current time period? And it will roll those up so that it will display how many days have been used within the sick days or within the vacation days. That's just a number field for sick days and vacation days, and then a roll-up field with some conditional filtering within here. Basically how that one is set up, I'll click into it. It's a roll-up, and it's looking at the time off table. This needs to be a linked record, and I'll show you shortly how that is set up. It's looking at the number of days, which is a calculation within my time off field. And then we're only going to include linked records from the time off table that meet certain conditions. Again, where status is approved, where the type is sick days, because we just want to roll up sick days in this case. And is it this year? We don't want to be looking at sick days or vacation days from years past. We're just looking at this year, and then it's just going to sum them. And the vacation days is the same thing. The only difference is we are filtering based on vacation. We can have a linked record. This is a linked record within the same table, actually. If there's a manager, you can link that to them. Then we have the time off. This is where it's linked to the time off table. We have then these both link to the exact same table, which is evaluations, but one is this employee is receiving the evaluation, and this one is where the employee is providing the evaluation. This is probably a manager or something. That is the more detailed table, which is the employee directory, and being able to pull in the information associated to the other two tables. I'll navigate into time off table. Same thing. Primary key is just going to concatenate and bring in unique identifiers. In this case, I have employee, the number of days off they've requested, and the date that it's created on or submitted. Here is a linked record back to employees. Show you again here. When I link to time off or create a linked field to time off, it's also going to create employee field. Here we have the type, again, vacation, sick day, maternity, whatever it may be. Is it been approved? This is where HR or a manager would go in and mark the status of that. We have employee comments. We could add this field on our form for when the employee is requesting that time off. We have HR note. This is after the form has been submitted, maybe a couple notes that HR could make on it if applicable. We have a start date and an end date, which the employee will fill out, whatever time length that they need off. And we have a calculation here, which is simply the workday differential, the number of being taken off. And the last thing is another formula field. It's just an if statement. And what the if statement is doing is looking at the year of start date of the time off and the year of today. And if the year of both of these is the same, we're going to put yes. Basically what that will do is look at if current year as it is today is the same as whatever the time requested is. So then that way back in our roll-up field, it will look at if it needs to be summing up the number of days off, because as of, let's say, January 1st, they get a refresh on their holidays to start the year over. And the last one is evaluations, similar to how I have it set up in the employee directory. We have the employee. This is the employee that is having the review or the evaluation done on them. And then we have the reviewer. Again, to employees, the person that is actually doing the evaluation or the review. So probably a manager or something like that. We have the evaluation date, overall rating. This could be set up in any way that fits your business and how you perform your evaluations on your employees. Again, overall rating, which is just a star rating. We have goals, we have strengths, areas of improvement, goals/action plan. Those are things dependent on how your company operates, could be filled out by the employee, and then you just discuss them as the evaluator. And we can have a reviewer or a evaluator comments once evaluation has been completed. High level of the entire base and structure and how the different tables link to each other. Before we get into Fillout, I do want to quickly build a interface, which is going to be used by the HR department or manager or some nature. That way that they can go through and easily select each employee and see the relevant information for each employee. We'll go into interfaces here. We'll click start building. We can just call this HR management. You can select an icon if you want, and I'll just click next. You have a lot of flexibility here. Basically what I want to do is I want to be able to select whatever employee and look at their relevant information. I'm going to scroll down here. We have a couple options that may fit. We have a record review. We have a search bar down the left side, so we could select each employee, or we have a record summary. I think in this case, what we're going to do is go with the record review. We can click next. It's already selected employees table because that's the first one. That's what I do want to go with. We'll click next. And this is all the information that we want to bring. We could probably hide this ID. We have the employee ID at the top here. We want first name, last name, date of birth. We will bring in work email, personal email. We're basically going to bring in all the information for HR or a manager to be able to view and edit if need be. Start date, employment status, salary. It will basically bring in all of those. maybe the manager, and a couple of the things that we won't bring in the time off or the evaluations within this form. Once we create this interface here, I will show you another method. Once we have all those selected, we can name it whatever we want. So we'll just call it employees and we'll hit finish. And we can see we have the list of employees down on the side here. I won't get into it too much, but you're able to move these fields around a little bit so that you can structure it a little bit nicer. If you want to be able to change specific data, chances are first name, last name, date of birth, none of those will change. You could probably leave those as view only here on the permissions. But what we might want to do is make that editable. Maybe the phone number, address could all be editable. And again, this is the database that will be accessed, the views or interface that will be able to be accessed by management and HR only. You have flexibility to what you want to make editable and not. I'll just select each of these items as being editable. These roll-up fields will not be by nature because our calculation happened automatically. We cannot touch those, and we will leave the manager. So that's good enough. That's got all the information here for HR to see. And as I mentioned, we may want to pull in something like the time off request the employee has made or the evaluations. We can go ahead and click this element icon here. And we have a few options. The first thing we could do is maybe add in divider and text field below the divider. And we could maybe close this out and we could call within the text, create a new heading, and we'll call this time off. You could go through and do the exact same process for the evaluations, but I will show you just with the time off request forms because it will be a very similar set. We're going to bring in time off in a list view. So we'll hit this plus icon, and within all elements, we could go down and select list if we wanted, or within the employees record list here, we can go down and find where it says time off, which is a linked field. We can select here. You'll see an arrow. It will go to the next view. When we were initially setting up the interface, we selected that we wanted time off to display here. It would have brought it in this field type, but we have a few options. We have a grid and calendar timeline. In this case, grid could probably work, but better yet, we could go down to the list here. We'll drop in the list, close this now. I'll extend this across so you can see all of them. And we can leave it editable for HR. And basically what this is doing is bringing in all of the time off requests for this employee. What we can do is go a step further. We can change which fields are viewable here. We probably don't need the ID in this case, but we will want, and actually we probably don't need the employee either because we don't want to change that because it's directly linked to the employee here. But we can bring in things like number of days, the start date, the end date, maybe employee comments and HR notes. From here, if I go preview, you can see as I scroll across, I can see all the relevant information. And if this employee throughout the year has, 4 or 5 time off requests between sick days and vacation days, you'll be able to quickly view all that information here, mark it as approved, and so on. And that's just really high level of how the interface view operates. And then you can select each employee down the left side here, quickly make a search. Say if you have a large list of employees and you needed to search by first or last name or whatever shows up within the view here. We're going to navigate back to our data and employees, and we will navigate to Fillout. Once you have your account set up, we can go into Fillout and we will click New Form. And we're actually going to connect it directly here to an Airtable form. We'll just pick whatever theme, that doesn't matter, and we'll connect it to your Airtable account. It's pretty straightforward. Your first time, you'll have to select the account and make the connection. As long as you're logged in on Airtable, it'll happen fairly seamlessly. I can hit next because I do want my account, and then I can select the base I want, which is HR management tutorial. Select that. And then the table, what we're doing here is we're going to, once we've hired the employee, send this form link to the new hire, and they can enter all the relevant information on there, and name, personal email, address, maybe direct deposit forms, stuff like that. We can select employee. We can click create form, and we'll call this new employee form. Continue. The neat thing about this is because we've connected to the base already and we have connected to the table, it has went and found all of the fillable fields that are already associated with the table, and they can be found down the left side here. So we can add them directly and it makes that connection. What we're going to start with is things like first name, last name, probably want address, we'll want date of birth, we'll want personal email, work email, something we will probably assign to them on our end. We won't include that. Phone number, vacation days, sick days, salary, those are all things that we would assign. Start date, that's something that we could probably enter ourselves on the HR end, but that might be good enough to get started here. We have some flexibility here too. If you've never used Fillout, we select the half width, and we can select half width here, and then we'll be able to drag and drop so that we can have some flexibility on the design of the form. But for this form, it's pretty simple and straightforward form. We just want to collect the employee information from them. After this, I think that should be good enough to get started here. We can go ahead and publish. I'll open it up. This is the form link. Once we've hired the new employee, we could send them so they could fill it. What we're going to do is also create a form for time off requests. The idea here is once the employee submits this form, it's going to generate a link that is going to be automatically emailed to the employee email address that they enter here. And from there, that is a unique link to them. So when they select it, it will automatically bring in employee ID information so that when they submit the time off request, they don't have to select their name or enter any of their details. It's just things like date, reason, and that's about it, and any notes that they want. We'll leave this as is for the time being, and we'll go back to home here, and we'll select a new form. Again, select connect. We'll go Airtable form. Select the theme, doesn't matter. Again, we want our HR management tutorial. This time we're going to select time off. And we're going to create. And we'll call this time off request form. Hit continue. Again, pulled in relevant fields based off of our time off table. From here, what we want to do is select things like type, status we'll leave, because that is something that us on backend or the HR side would want to complete. We'll do start date, end date, employee comments, and we're going to bring in the employee as well. I'll drag that up to the top. If I select this, you'll see it's going to bring in the list of employees that are within my base already. But because we want to send a unique link to our new employee that they can save somewhere to be able to request time off in the future, and we don't want them to be able to select whatever employee they want, we're going to go to the default values here, and we're going to bring in a URL parameter. We're going to continue. We'll configure a new URL, and what we're going to do is just call this employee ID, and we'll add that parameter. Now we'll go back into here, URL parameters, and now the employee's ID is. When we select the link, it is going to have the employee ID kind of at the end of it. It's going to be pre-filled, and when that gets selected, the employee is automatically going to get selected here. However, when that's done, the employee will still be able to change the employee that's been selected. What we'll have to do is we'll go in here and we'll go into logic. And we're going to select this hide always. Anytime the form is opened, they will not be able to change the employee directly. We could take it a step further here, bring in this paragraph and put hi, and we'll put the @ symbol, and we'll bring in the page, and we're going to select the employee, then automatically pre-filled, select it, and we'll go first name here. And that way, once that link has been selected by the employee to request time off, it's going to bring in their employee ID, going to find the first name from the database and put hi first name here. You can take it a step further if you wanted, but for the time being, this would be good enough. We have the integration set up. We have the URL or the URL parameter set up, and we're going to bring in the first name here. Once we hit publish, there'll be this link. We can copy it, and we'll go back into our database, and we'll go back into employees, and we're going to create a new field. It's going to be a formula field, and this is going to be the time off request link. And it's going to be a formula, and we can go concatenate, and then within quotes, we're going to paste this in, and we're going to get rid of these X's here because that is just a placeholder. Basically, what's going to happen is when you click this link, it's navigate to the link, it's going to add a parameter, this employee ID, which is linking back to here. And the last thing we want to do is outside of the quote, we'll hit a comma and we'll type in record ID, because now we're going to assign the record ID to this employee ID, which is being filled here, which this is our linked record from time off to employees. We can close that out, create field, and I've already published this link. So we can see here when I click the button here, it'll open up the form, and it's now said, hi, Daniel. And you can see that I click Daniel here as the employee that is taking time off. Now that we have that connection made and the unique link or time off link created, what we can do is now go into automations, and we're going to create a new automation. We're going to click when a record is created in employees. We're going to send an email to the personal email with the subject info received. You can put whatever text you want here. Thank you for completing the onboarding form. Here is the request form. The way we're going to link this is put request within square brackets, and then within regular brackets, we can bring in the time off link and close that out. And now we can test it, go down here and click generate a preview. This is in the email to the personal email address that they'll receive. And here's the link within the email. When they click it, it will bring up that form that I just showed you. We can rename it. We'll say send time off link to new employee. We'll want to turn that one on. And there, now we have basically everything set up. We have our forms published and live. Now what I'll do is go in and add myself as an employee or a new employee, as I was just recently hired. And something I just noticed here, I went a little too quickly before. We're going to go back to Fillout. I'm going to close that. We're going to go back to Fillout, and we're going to go into that new employee form. Now, I had previously mentioned the Fillout address field type. Now it can link to Airtable's long text field type. Airtable doesn't have a native way to add an address, but here we've just got a long text field type. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to click the other tab here and type in address. This is Fillout native address field type. We can drop that in. We can rename it as address. You have a few options down the side here, fixed country, so on. You can allow the user to select country. Again, now it's kind of formatted and validated in the way that we may want it. One last thing, once we've brought in that field, it shows not connected here. So it's not going to map to any field currently, but if we click this drop down here and go select address, now it's going to map back to the address field in Airtable. Click off that, and we will republish this form. We'll open it, and now we're going to go in and add myself as a new employee. We can select my date of birth, and we'll add in address, select your city, state or province, postal code, select your country, and you can add your personal email address. Now that we have the automation set, once I submit this form, I'm going to get an email back here with the time off request form. I can add a phone number if I want it as well. I'll just leave it blank. You have a few choices at the end of your form as well. You can customize this page. You can have them redirect to a specific website or push them to submitting another form of whatever type. Back in Fillout, you can see here, here's the ending. This is where you have a few options. You can add different information, new form, redirect, and page. You can customize. But for purpose of this tutorial, I'll just go back. We can see now that there has been a new record has been added, and I will just navigate to my email and show you exactly what happened. This is the email I received. It shows exactly how we set it up within the automation. Now I can save this link here personally, and anytime I have to request time off, I can go in and click it or open up that link, and it will open up here, and it should, as long as I have done things correctly, populate with the name as Isaac. Again, you can take it a step further and add whatever information. Now I can go fill this out. Like maybe I've got vacation that I'm requesting off for next week, Monday to Friday. Comments if I need. Click submit, and I can navigate back to here, go into my interfaces, and we can see now there's been a new employee added. I'll select them. And now on the HR side, I can go in and make edits to whatever's relevant, maybe assigning their department, position, select their start date, employment status, things like salary, sick days, and so on. You can see though that I did request some time off. It's vacation, it's 5 days, and we'll approve it. And we can see here that has just changed to 5 days that's been approved off. You can also set up a very similar form that automatically pre-fills the employee for something like evaluations, but this will show you at least the core components to setting up an HR management system. You can track, again, your employee directory, track time off requests with forms associated to those evaluations, and how to create a simple user interface for the HR department or managers to be able to see the employee with things like time off requests. And again, the exact same process would be required to set up the evaluations list. I hope this video was of use to you. If you did like it, please hit that subscribe button, give it a like. That way you can get access to more tutorials in the future.